Cody Rhodes may have ruined WrestleMania 38 plans. Also, in addition to that, WWE is calling up the NXT champion, former NXT champion. We're going to discuss that a little bit in depth. Also, Paige Van Zandt, she is training for AEW. I'm going to give you guys an idea of what to look forward to. If you guys want more videos like this, go ahead and click that subscribe button, ring the bell, get notified. Shout out to all of you who have already been here. 35,000 subscribers. Literally can't have done it without you. So thank you again for all your support, and we'll continue to work hard every single day. Let's talk about Braun Breaker. He lost the belt to Ciampa and Ziggler in the triple threat match. Ziggler is the new NXT champion. It was a very interesting decision by WWE, but it seems to be like this is a decision that is getting favored a lot by the wrestling community. Also, it seems like NXT 2.0 is definitely getting more popular with the internet wrestling community, which is always a good thing. I think more that people enjoy wrestling, more people come together, which is something I've been trying to do with my Discord server. So, by the way, if you guys aren't in that server, go ahead and join. It's completely free. If you are a member of the channel, you also get VIP access. The big thing here is that Braun Breaker could potentially be going to Raw. I read this article on Forbes.com. WWE is reportedly considering promoting Braun Breaker from NXT to the main roster. This came from Dave Meltzer. Breaker, the son of legendary tag team performer Rick Steiner, is under consideration for a call-up to Raw or SmackDown. There is talk of him going to the main roster pretty quickly. He's wrestling on this weekend's house shows. Maybe he'll lose at Stand and Deliver and just go to the main roster. I mean, I like the idea of Braun Breaker going to the main roster. I always hear this argument that WWE fails to create new stars. And yes, to an extent they do, but also WWE has a developmental system, and for the longest time, people were just shitting on it. I don't know. This idea of WWE wanting to create a superstar and build somebody up, is a terrible idea. But if you're popular amongst the IWC, like, apparently it's okay. You know what I mean? I feel like a situation like this tells me that WWE has an opportunity to create new stars using NXT. And I think that's why we're starting to see NXT's viewership go up a little bit. Braun Breaker, I think, is an exceptional performer. And, it's just another case at first of people not giving it a chance. And then I think what ended up happening was more and more people started to give it a chance. You got to remember, Braun Breaker chose his name. The reason why he's not Rex Steiner, not anything to do with Steiner, it's because he made the choice. They already revealed this. This information already came out. It's public knowledge. And I think a lot of people now are starting to realize, okay, like, this guy is actually pretty good. Let's see what they can do with him. Now, WWE in the past, I've said this before, they've called up talent to the main roster and they didn't do a good job. However, I am watching WWE in 2022. Ricochet just won the Intercontinental Championship, so they're finally doing something with Ricochet. And by the way, Damian Priest just lost the United States Championship to another NXT alumni, and that was Finn Balor. Now, keep in mind, Damian Priest was booked incredibly strong since his main roster debut, and now it seems like they're doing more with him. So ultimately, if WWE can't produce stars, I can understand the argument, but if you're not willing to give it a chance, then you're part of the problem. And I think this is why WWE NXT right now is one of my favorite shows, because you're going to see good stuff on NXT and you're going to see bad shit on NXT. These people aren't the best wrestlers. They're not the best superstars, but we're watching them develop. We're watching them grow. We're watching them get better. And it was obviously clear Braun Breaker was above everybody. Now, very quickly, if I am WWE, I would call Braun Breaker up for WrestleMania. I would have him get in the ring, interrupt somebody, and that's how I would build a program there. But also, I think it's a good opportunity for WWE to pay, maybe, just maybe, Carmelo Hayes carry the North American Championship and the NXT World Championship. Just a thought, just an opinion. Let me know what you think. Paige Van Zandt is All Elite. We know this. We've been talking a little bit about it, but now we know she is being trained by Gangrel, which is a very awesome thing. I think Paige Van Zandt coming to AEW is good. I've seen a lot of people in the comments of my videos say that this is AEW's desperate attempt to match WWE and what they're doing with Ronda Rousey. I know Slice Wrestling came out with a report recently that Ronda Rousey will be sticking with WWE even after WrestleMania, so there are plans for her. Obviously, the championship match is taking place at WrestleMania, so that's something to keep your eye out on for. But with Paige Van Zandt coming into pro wrestling, she's not an experienced pro wrestler. I don't know if this stops Paige Van Zandt from doing bare knuckle FC. If I'm Tony Khan, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't want one of my top female stars to be all beaten up from, bare knuckle. And look, hey, Paige Van Zandt, she was a good MMA fighter, but even better, she was a better influencer. She carries a lot of influence on social media, so this is a good move for AEW specifically. And by the way, now that Paige Van Zandt is actually going to get real training, I like this. I like this idea of Paige Van Zandt. And by the way, something that needs to be talked about, and of everybody's going to have like their own different opinion, but something I personally feel strongly about, Paige Van Zandt is not going to learn the AEW way, right? Paige Van Zandt isn't going into like Nightmare Factory, which we don't even know what the hell's happening with that. But there's not a developmental system really in place for AEW. Yes, they have coaches. Yes, they have backstage producers. And yes, they have people that are hands-on. And she's going to learn from some of the best. But the idea of Paige Van Zandt going to somebody who is not contracted under AEW and to learn about professional wrestling and to get better in professional wrestling, I think that is going to be a really good strategy for AEW. Then as she performs in AEW, she could start learning the AEW way. Now, if Paige Van Zandt comes out here doing like crazy ass hurricanranas and shit, it's going to be a wild ass show. But it's something I want people to pay attention to because I think Paige Van Zandt could not only be a good business acquisition for AEW, but also for Paige Van Zandt, if she really, really pursues pro wrestling and she leaves the MMA stuff behind and she's like all in on this stuff, I genuinely think Paige Van Zandt could be a really good asset to wrestling in general. And you never know. Maybe, I mean, you got freaking Ronda Rousey in WWE, and nobody thought it would be amazing. And look what she did with Kurt Angle, Triple H, and Stephanie. Like, everybody has a role in wrestling, and you got to find a way to make the role work. And I do enjoy what they're doing with it, and I expect to see something pretty cool. I do believe we're going to see Paige Van Zandt on television while she's training, but I wouldn't expect any big programs for her. Obviously, that could be a different scenario. Who knows? But just something to keep an eye out on. Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins is the reported plan for WrestleMania 38, but Cody Rhodes has not signed with WWE, so WWE has canceled these plans, which obviously puts Seth Rollins in a very interesting position because Seth Rollins is one of the top stars in WWE. And obviously, Kevin Owens has a thing going on with Stone Cold Steve Austin, which we know Stone Cold Steve Austin is training. Who knows what that's actually going to lead up to. Cody Rhodes very well could have ruined WrestleMania plans. And it appears that WWE was actually hoping Cody Rhodes would have signed with WWE so they can start setting up this program. Now, obviously, they want Cody Rhodes for WrestleMania, which makes sense. WWE is desperate to have this happen. On the Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE has a creative plan for the secret debut of Rhodes imminently. If Rhodes does return to the WWE, the plan is for him to face Seth Rollins. Fightful previously reported this as well, that they considered a pitch for this bout. Now, we've been saying, I did a video like a month ago or whatever, fantasy booking, and I've been saying Seth Rollins versus Cody would be cool. There's history there. Something I would enjoy. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the creative team has been told that it's not 100% that Rhodes is coming in, with those higher in the company unsure whether talks have fallen through or not, as discussions were reportedly ongoing during the week. Look, this is what I'm going to say. If Cody Rhodes is not signed to WWE, he's ruining WrestleMania, and he's ruining it specifically for Seth Rollins, because right now, WrestleMania is like 20-something days away. So we're not getting like this massive, huge build for a storyline here. And, having Cody come in immediately, I think like we're chop time. Like if Cody's not debuting on Raw, like if he's not on Raw this week or next week, I would say the idea of him showing up is very unlikely. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm just saying I think it's unlikely. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you next time.